We should consider taking in my sister's child. One day, my husband unexpectedly announced that he would take on the responsibility of her child. He didn't even bother asking for my opinion. I'm reaching my limit with his increasingly domineering behavior. I have to do something about this situation for the sake of my daughter and myself. My name is Lisa. I've been married to Mark for 5 years, and we've been together for 7. We have a lovely daughter named Emily. She is 3 years old and has just started preschool. Life is simple, yet peaceful and happy. I wouldn't trade my life with Mark and Emily for anything. Then one day, Mark's sister, Sarah, got divorced. Sarah and her husband had a 4-year-old son named Lucas, and Sarah took custody. But it seems taking care of the child was harder than she thought. Soon after the divorce, Sarah left a note and disappeared, leaving Lucas at her parents' house. Mark and I were called to his parents' house for a family meeting. The first thing his dad said was, "Mark, Lisa, could you please take care of Lucas?" I couldn't believe my ears. "Wait, you want us to take care of Lucas? We're getting older, and it's getting tough for us. You already have Emily, right? What's one more child?" That's a bit much. Mark's parents have high blood pressure and frequent doctor visits. His mom even had a stroke before, so I knew they weren't in the best of health. I know it's hard for both my father-in-law and mother-in-law, but we have Emily, and taking on another child is just too much. Mark and I both work, so it's not like we're struggling financially, but that's beside the point. We're busy with work and already exhausted from taking care of Emily and managing the household. We can't possibly take care of a growing 4-year-old like Lucas. I decided to be straightforward and declined right there. "I'm sorry, but we can't take Lucas in. We have Emily and we're both busy with work." His dad wasn't moved by my words and kept pushing. "I'm really sorry. We want to help, but we can't." "Can't you take him for a while? We can't afford it." "I can't. I'm sorry." Then Mark, who had been silent, clicked his tongue and glared at me. "Lisa, what's wrong with you?" "Excuse me? Don't you care what happens to Lucas?" "Well, your parents could, so you're just going to dump it all on them? You're the worst." "Wait, what? How did this turn into me being the worst person here? I was just saying we can't take in another child because we have our daughter, Emily." Confused by Mark's outburst, I responded, "Wait a minute, Mark. Like I said, we have Emily." "So what? Emily is 3, Lucas is 4. They're practically the same age. Stop making a big deal out of one more child." "One more child? Do you even understand how hard parenting is? We both work. We can manage. Don't you feel sorry for Lucas?" Mark continued to blame me for refusing to take in Lucas. And what's worse, from his tone, it's clear he has no intention of helping out. I'm a parent too, and I do feel sorry for Lucas, but parenting requires a lot of commitment. Mark has never really helped with Emily or the housework. I've been the one doing everything. If we take in Lucas, I can see it all falling on me. I have to stop this. Look, I can't do it. I can't give Lucas the same love and attention as Emily. What? He's my sister's child. How can you say that? Remember what I told you before? Lucas has been toward Emily. Oh, that story again. Yes, there's another reason I don't want to take in Lucas. He's always been clingy with Mark and me because his parents never gave him much attention. That would be fine, but whenever Emily comes around, Lucas becomes openly hostile. "Hey, get lost. Don't come here." Emily always starts crying at Lucas's words. "Stop crying. Go away, you ugly kid." He's thrown toys at her and even pushed her down multiple times. Even if he's just 4, I can't stand how Lucas harms my precious daughter. If we take him in, he'll surely target Emily again. I have housework and a job. I can't watch them every second. I've tried to explain this to Mark multiple times. I don't have the confidence to care for Lucas properly. I don't want to start something I can't finish. What? Just try harder. He's my sister's child. He's no different from our own. What are you talking about? They're completely different. I'm already overwhelmed with just Emily. Mark doesn't lift a finger to help with our own child. He doesn't understand the challenges of parenting, so he can easily say, "Let's take him in." As much as Lucas is family, my daughter is my priority. I can't love him the same way I love Emily. The love for the child I gave birth to is unparalleled. If I go along with Mark and his parents, I'll regret it. If Lucas treats Emily coldly and she gets hurt, it's all for nothing. I must avoid making Emily sad at all costs. Like I said, I can't. If you want to take him in, you take care of him. What's that supposed to mean? We're taking him in so we don't burden my parents. That's final. Got it? Mark probably just wants to look like he's a good son to his parents. In the end, he unilaterally decided we were taking Lucas. Something has to change. Feeling this way, I took Emily and went back to my parents' home. I explained the situation to my mom, who greeted us. So that's what happened. Mark wants to take in Lucas without even listening to me. My mom frowned, clearly concerned. You've mentioned before that Mark doesn't really help with Emily, right? Yes, exactly. He leaves all the housework and childcare to me. Taking in Lucas would just add to my burden. And on top of that, Lucas has been hostile towards Emily. Yes, that's why I can't agree to take him in. My mom understands me well, as I often consult her about various issues. She agreed, saying, "Taking in Lucas would only make things harder for you." I spent the night at my parents' home, indulging in their care. The next day, I found a slew of voicemail messages from Mark on my phone. Running off to your parents won't change my mind. Lucas was happy when I said he could come. Don't trample on a child's feelings. You're basically Lucas's mom now. Get back here and take care of the house. His unreasonable demands left me more stunned than angry. Ignoring his messages, I turned off my phone. Mark, reaching his limit, showed up at my parents' home. I can't keep running away. I decided to have a face-to-face conversation with Mark. We asked my parents to leave the room, creating a space for just the two of us. As soon as we were alone, Mark started yelling at me. "Hey, apologize to me right now." "What? What do you mean? Why? Running off to your parents and neglecting the housework for 2 days. Apologize. Why should I? It's absurd that he expects me to do all the housework when we both work." Annoyed by his selfishness, I responded calmly, "Do you still not understand why I went back to my parents? It's because you're not listening to me." "What? I never thought you'd be so cold. Don't you feel sorry for Lucas?" Mark, catching his breath, continued, "Lucas is my sister's son." "Then let me ask you, you don't even take care of Emily. Do you really think you can handle Lucas too?" "Whatever, it'll work out. Lucas is older than Emily. He can take care of himself. He might even be easier to handle." "That's not the point. Lucas pushed Emily before and couldn't even say sorry. He's not well disciplined. How can you say he'd be easier to handle? I can't do it." "You're so stubborn." Mark sighed, looked at me, and said something unbelievable. "Listen, you're my wife, and a wife is supposed to obey her husband. That means if I say we're taking care of Lucas, you have a duty to follow." "Are you serious?" I asked. "Of course I am. You just need to listen to me. We're taking Lucas in. End of discussion." Mark slammed the table and glared at me. That was the last straw. I looked him straight in the eyes and said, "Can you stop? Why do I have to obey you just because I'm your wife? I'm not your personal servant, you know." "What are you even talking about?" "The one saying incomprehensible things here is you, Mark. Lucas is just a relative to me. Right now, if we divorce, he'll be nothing. Do you get that?" "Wait, what?" Mark was clearly shaken by the mention of divorce. "Divorce? Why are you bringing that up now? We're not getting a divorce." "Why do you get to decide that? That's up to me, isn't it? Don't tell me you think I could never dislike you because I'm already fed up. You're joking, right?" "Do I look like I'm joking? I can't take Lucas in emotionally or otherwise. It's just not possible." Mark finally seemed to grasp the gravity of my refusal. Still, he tried to maintain his composure and said, "Stop it. If we divorce, you're the one who's going to suffer." "Suffer how?" "You'll be a single mom. Can you raise Emily on your own?" "I don't see why not." "What?" Mark was dumbfounded by my unexpected answer. Regardless of him, I continued, "I've been silent about this because of your pride, but I actually earn more than you. I have more than enough to raise Emily on my own." "That can't be. Plus, if we divorce, I'll move back to my parents' home. They adore Emily and are much more reliable than someone who doesn't help with housework or childcare. What the hell is going on? Mark was stunned, clutching his head in disbelief. Realizing he couldn't win, he clenched his teeth and left without another word. I couldn't help but chuckle at the look on his face. I later found out that Mark had told his parents behind my back, "We'll take Lucas in, and Lisa will take care of him." How far will he go to save face? My refusal to take Lucas and my return to my parents' home threw a wrench in his plans. Mark and his parents were in complete disarray. "We can't take Lucas because Lisa went back to her parents. It's impossible." "What are you talking about? We already said we couldn't take him. You were the one who insisted." "That's because Lisa's not here." "Then you take him. You earn enough to support one child, don't you?" "Why should I take him? Send him back to his mom. His real mom," Mark exclaimed. We still had no idea where my sister-in-law was, and her ex-husband was unreachable. In the end, Mark had no choice but to take responsibility for Lucas. As for me, living apart from him made me realize there was no point in staying married. When I finally brought up divorce, Mark seemed to grasp the gravity of the situation. Over the phone, he pleaded, tears in his voice. "I'm sorry. I'll help with the housework and childcare from now on. Let's figure out what to do about Lucas together, okay? Please forgive me." "No, I can't." "What? Why should I believe you now? I've given you so many chances. I've asked you to help and cooperate, and you've ignored it all. It's too late to ask for forgiveness. Bye." I'm not heartless. If Mark had been helping with childcare and housework, if he had shown a willingness to work together on Lucas's situation, things might have been different. But the one who dismissed my feelings from the start was Mark himself. I'm not naive enough to believe his convenient promises. We officially divorced after that. Of course, he's obligated to pay child support for our daughter. Between taking care of Lucas and now having to pay child support, his disposable income will likely shrink. He's still searching for his sister, but with no luck so far. Apparently, he's having a hard time managing Lucas. Well, he brought it upon himself. As for me, I'm living peacefully with my daughter and parents. I do feel sorry for Lucas, abandoned by his biological parents, but I hope my ex-husband learns just how hard housework and